Welcome back to Half A Hot Rods. This week we're going to cover a lot of ground on Tucker's truck, so be patient. If you stick with us till the end, I promise you there's going to be some unbridled, uncontrolled, super exciting excitement. Hound, you want to show them what excitement looks like? Anyway, stick around. I'm not sure where we left off the other day with Tucker's help out here, but we got a bunch of stuff hooked up. We got the hood put on, so it's really starting to look like a truck again. We lubed the hinges, so we're not going to fold the hood in half. I got Hound and Yeti out here to help me today. We should have named them Harry and Lloyd because they're dumb and dumber.
My friend Harry and I are saving up our money to open our own pet store.
Alright, I think it's time to start getting exhaust manifolds figured out. I need to get plugs, which I know I've talked about in previous videos, these AIR tube holes plugged. So I need to find some plugs to jam in there, maybe do some JB weld, maybe do some actual welding. These are cast iron. I don't know what my plugs are going to be made out of, so as much as I don't like it, I may just get one that's close, JB weld it, jam it in there, grind it smooth, and hope for the best, see what happens. It's not the right way to do it, but it's probably how we're going to do it. Ain't nothing to it but to do it. I'll get going. So I can't use the manifolds I wanted to use because on those ones the O2 goes in like this and it'll hit the frame. So we'll have to use these ones. That's why I'm having to plug these holes. You want to fight? Oh, easy, Hound. We'll end up with a real dog fight. Let's see if I've got any plugs. I don't think I do that are going to work for this, but let's give her a go. You can tell Wyatt and his friends were out here in the shop because I don't leave drawers partway open. There's some plugs, maybe. And that kind of fits the hole, fills the hole. That one, ooh, that fits down in there. I like that. Look at that. If I JB weld the crap out of that, you'll never even know that I cobbled it together. Except for I told the internet. And there's like a flange down in there. So as long as this is making good contact with that, I think it'll be fine. Famous last words. I would really like it if it was almost flush like this, even if it's sitting below. That's better than sticking out. This is just miscellaneous junk that I've saved off of other Chevrolet-based projects. Is that a brand new? That's a brand new oxygen sensor for an LS, I believe. I think these are both going to be the same size. Here, go get the other one to be sure. So it definitely would have been much easier to just buy headers, but they're just not in the budget. And they could potentially be more trouble down the road because sometimes people have trouble keeping gaskets in them. If you go watch the long bed video, though, the way we did those, I've had very good luck with them. The secret sauce, so to speak.
A tactical advantage, a secret weapon.
It's not really a secret. That would work too, but it sticks out. Oh, is this another one? I believe it is. Oh, look at that. Money. Look how half-a professional that looks. Now I just got to find some goop that'll hold it in there and hold up to high temperatures. Yeah, buddy. Look at all that money we just saved. That's like $6 that we didn't have to go get in town. All right, now let's check the goop drawer. Something has leaked in here. The entire goop drawer is very goopy. Well organized though, right? Look down in there. That's like, yeah, 2-year-old underpants. Gross. Filthy.
That's disgusting.
That probably didn't sound right. I'm going to have to cut that out. Oh no. Tell me the red stuff's not leaking. That's like liquid gold. No bueno. This is how you get sidetracked. You start looking for something and you're like, well, that really should be cleaned. And then you don't finish nothing. But look how clean that drawer is. Nobody cares. We got some JB Quick. Keep out of reach of children. Well, Wyatt can't reach it anyway. Sorry, Wyatt. Kind of. We just found some JB Quick. That might be what we need. I might have to read on the interwebs and make sure that'll work for high heat. And dissimilar metals, because I don't know if they're the same kind of metal. What's this? This side's sticky. Pipe thread sealant. Oh, that's good stuff. I'll bet I bought more of that because I couldn't find it. Look at all the treasures in here. All right. I can't tell at all what that says. Stand by. Let me get my readers out. Whoop. Contains glass oxide. Avoid breathing. Wear protection. That's always good advice. Take off clothing. No, take off contaminated clothing. Whew. What's that kind of show? Doesn't say anything about what you're supposed to use it with. Probably said on the paper container. Avoid breathing. Take off. No, that's the same warnings. All right. We're going to have to do some internet research and see what JB Quick works for. That's probably not going to work in the shop. We need a booster hound. Can't get the interwebs out here. Can you get it by the door, by the window? It's like a door, except for you can see through it. Of course, they have an extreme heat version, which is probably what you should use. Okay, the interweb says JB Quick is only good to 300 degrees Fahrenheit. So we're probably not going to use that. But they do have a high temp product, so we'll probably go get a little bit of that. And then we'll jam this together with those plugs and vice grip it so it holds it tight. It says it's got, well, I don't know what the other one's cure time is. Don't really matter because we'll probably do it and then it'll sit a couple days before I work on those again. So we won't use the Quick for this one because the interweb says not to. Well, it says they're only good to 300, which to me says don't do it. And we'll come back to that. But we did find plugs that fit in my junk drawer or treasure drawer, depending on how you look at it, because it probably just saved us like $6 or $8. So that's good. Do I have it planned? Already got the little donut gaskets in both sides. I hope you guys can see because I put that light right in my own eyeballs. One of those times I could really use an assistant. Just tried to put my hand through the frame rail. Didn't work. Got one nut on each one. That's all I brought down here. Cool. And my creeper's trying to run over my hood. I brought a wood block over and then left it up top. Just going to put something under the back of this pipe to hold it up off the frame rail about where I think it's supposed to be. That way when I tighten up these guys in the front, I won't be trying to move them. You son of a... Fell out of the spot again. It's okay, we got it once, we'll get it again. What's wrong with the magnets? Why won't you magnet? Why won't you fit the way you're supposed to? You went back in the same stupid hole. Wait till you get the hammer. Grinding the asbestos off the exhaust gasket right into my mouth and my suffering. Why does it take so long? This is why! Just work with me.
Years later.
Okay, so we're back. It's about 2 weeks later. Last week we actually went to the Houston Stock Show and Wyatt showed a steer, market steer. Are you done? Oh, sorry. He's not sorry. Anyway, last week we went to the Houston Stock Show. Wyatt showed a market steer and an ag mechanics project. He built a hay spear for our pickup bed. So we're back on Tucker's truck, and here's what we've done so far. Since we had time off, that gave my new radiator hoses time to come in. These are the old ones. I've already got them swapped out. Put a new fuel filter on. We threw a muffler on it just to try and quiet it down enough to figure out anything else that's going on. Fuel filter, keep in mind there is an arrow on this somewhere. On a new one you can see it better. So that has to go the right way. Radiator hoses, both done. These were pretty crusty. One was too short. And when you're doing projects like these and you're leaving it all the time, I started leaving myself notes so that I can remember where I'm at. So we got fuel filter done, muffler done. Now I know where I need to pick up distributor and wires. So I never took the distributor out of this truck or out of this engine when I pulled it apart, but I did pull the cap off because it gives me more clearance. What I should have done before I pulled this apart was mark the number one cylinder wire and then I would have been able to just go back in and put it all back together without doing what we're about to do. I did not mark it, so now I need to figure out which wire on the cap is number 1 so that I can go in the right order and put all the rest of the wires on in the correct order so it will hopefully run right. So what we're going to do is pull the number 1 spark plug out, and we're going to bump this over until we hear it come up on compression, which you'll hear, and we'll probably shove a paper towel down in there so that it'll shoot it out. We'll make sure that our timing mark is in the right place and that we are definitely on compression stroke. And then we'll look and see where the rotor is pointing, mark that on the distributor, and then we'll know where number 1 is on the cap. Sounds like a lot of steps. It's really not that bad, usually. All right, let's get that plug out. Normally what I would do is stick my finger in the spark plug hole, have somebody tap the ignition key until I felt the compression come up. Since Hound doesn't have thumbs, he's not a whole lot of help out here, so I'm going to have to do both. That's why we're putting the rag in there. I feel like that should have been enough. Yep, it was. I missed it, didn't I? Why didn't you tell me? You guys are about as much help as Hound.
This is your fault.
Well, I didn't get out of it soon enough. That was probably it again. I did not expect this was going to be this big of a challenge. Now let's see where our mark is. Well, what do you know? So, I'll let the camera focus, but do you see that line? Hopefully you can see the line and the little tab. So we got to come just a little more. So I'll just put a socket on the crank and do that. I'm just trying to hit that big dip in the middle of that timing tab. So this is the distributor. This is what I'm looking for. Okay, where that's pointing. That should be pointed 180 degrees off from where it's at. Since I didn't take it out, oh, I did take it out because I resealed the intake. It's probably 180 off. So, because the timing mark would not line up if it wasn't on top dead center, I don't think. So I think I need to pull that out, turn it 180, then mark it, and then we should be good. I think. Yeah, I definitely had it out because I resealed the intake. I forgot about that. Yeah, that's what we're going to do. We're going to pull the distributor, turn it 180, put the cap and wires on, and see what happens. One of the challenges when you're working on something, as long as I've been working on this, you can't remember what you have and have not done. Okay, here we go. For Pete's sake. These TBI trucks, that hard fuel line's right in the way. Feels like somebody got that really tight already. Get like a 1/16 of a turn with that one. Now it's loose. Of course, no reflector there. This all could have been avoided if I'd have marked on the distributor where the rotor was pointed, so I knew I put it back in the same spot. And also mark the cap number 1. All I needed was number 1. I could have avoided all of this. But nope, we're going to do it the hard way. Extra steps. Thank God I don't have any more room over here. Good Lord, how long is that bolt? There it goes. And everything's hooked up. So we're just going to pick it up enough that I can turn that rotor around, spin it 180 degrees, and then set her back in there. I hope everything's good. Maybe we'll disconnect the battery. Yep. Or we could just turn the key off. No, nuts. Or we could just turn the key off. No, nuts. I don't know if you could hear that, but when I started moving the distributor, the coil was sparking. Probably because I had the key on. We'll see if it still does it. Nope. Get it up just enough to spin this. Set her back down. Alright. So now we're just going to remember that number 1 on the distributor cap is straight ahead. Okay. Now we got to try and get this hold down and this bolt back in there, with all the stuff that was in the way before still in the way. I love it. That distributor wrench comes apart in 2 pieces, 3 pieces, and you can put a ratchet in it. It's kind of cool.
500 years later.
Alright, so in theory, now we should be able to put the cap on. I Googled earlier, and I thought it was counterclockwise. It's actually clockwise rotation. And it gave me the firing order, which lots of people already know, but it's 18436572. I knew it, and when I was pressured by you people, I couldn't remember. But it's stamped into the intake too. 18436572. It's one of those you have to say it all in one shot, like your ABCs, or you can't get it right. Same idea. Here's our distributor cap with wires attached. Based on the way this is going to sit in there, I would say that this is probably 1. Oh no. Come back out of there. Which would make sense because it's kind of a longer one. So let's put it on there and see what happens. There's a little corrosion. We're going to clean that up a little. What little bit was in there probably would have been fine, but asbestos. I'm betting that these guys that are all zip tied together probably went to the same side. This little short guy from the middle is going to go to the coil. We know from the Google that the driver's side is 1357 from front to back, which means the other side is 2468 from front to back. Probably should put the spark plug back in. So I got something to hook that spark plug wire to. Yep, use plugs, use wires, use cap and rotor. We're on a budget here. Can't just replace stuff if it works. Wrap number 1. Just kind of lay these guys off to the side. Now, originally this probably went, where did it go? Routing of these I don't think is uber important, except for you don't want them to look like crap. So we're going to do our best to make it not look like crap. we also want to keep them away from manifolds. That's Wyatt found out on his TBI Blazer, is spark plug wires don't like heat. They don't like it at all. Alright, so it was 1/8. We can look at the engine block here, or the intake manifold, to keep reminding ourselves. So if this one's 1 and it's clockwise, I looked that up earlier. 8. It's that one. 4 should be this one. We got the zip tie plug wire separators. I'm okay with that. 1, 8, 4. 4. From the larger here. 4. And then 1, 8, 4. 3. So that's the second back on the other side. One, 8, 4, 3, 6. So I should throw that one there. 1, 8, 4, 3, 6. 6. 1, 8, 4, 3, 6, 5. That's the other side. Keep working back. 1, 8, 4, 3, 6, 5. This guy. 1, 8, 4, 3, 6, 5, 7. This guy. On to the other side. 7. So we press back. What should we do? 1, 8, 4, 3, 6, 5, 7, 2. This side has some little spark wires on the engine for the knockers, so that's good. This guy's not that big deal. Oh, yeah, I probably should put all these under the wiring a little here. I do one time, I'll have to figure out the plug in. And then we'll just double check that none of them are going to sit against the hot exhaust. So we'll get some black zip ties. I'm not going to go crazy on them yet, because obviously we don't know if I've messed something up majorly and it's going to all have to come apart again. So we'll just keep them from burning up while we're doing our first starts here. Let's go look at our list, because I think we might be getting close here. Pour some gas in this hog and see what happens. Oh, we got to do the ground wire for the fuel pump. We might be ready to put gas in this and see what happens. We don't need that. Vent. How am I going to get gas in it though? The way that comes out is going to be a pain in the butt. I really want to hear it bark. Once we're sure it's all good, we'll flush all this out, put the right mix of coolant in there. Pretty sure we put trans fluid in it already, but we'll double check because I've been away for a while. Pretty sure we never took the oil out of it. We'll double check. Pull it out, wipe it off. Go back again. Yep, full of oil. trans fluid. It's got trans fluid in it. We'll wipe it off, go back. That's going to take adjustment because it was emptied out while it was on the bench. But for now it shows full. Once it starts pumping it through the system, that'll change. Very carefully pour some gas in here. Without the government mandated lid. The vent hole is leaking. Okay, take two. Oh, that didn't work at all. We're going to have gas everywhere. Thank you, government. Alright, that's half a can probably. Probably more than enough for a first start. So far this isn't going the way I had it planned at all, so that's about normal. I don't know how much good that's doing, but whatever. Okay, we've checked all the fluids. We got gas in it. I think everything's hooked up. I guess we just need to hit the key and see what happens. By key, I mean pliers. Think we're in park? That was a pretty good pop. I hope I didn't switch that distributor out and put it 180 off. I almost definitely put that 180 off. Great. So remember when I said I might not have it exactly where I want it? Something's leaking over there. That's what I did. I didn't have it up on compression stroke. I had it up on intake stroke? Whichever one's the opposite of the compression stroke. It will also show top dead center. So, yeah. I took it out, switched it around, and now it's 180 off, and it would have been fine the way I had it. So, now I get to go back and fight with that distributor bolt again. I will leave the cap rotor wires, all that, hooked up if I can, if there's enough room. And we'll pull that distributor out and flip it and then see what happens. But we've got spark, we've got fuel, because she's banging. It just ain't happening at the right time, which means I screwed up. So we're going to shut the camera off while I fight with that for a little while. Turn the radio on, see what we can do. So before I go away here, I think that's gas. And I think that's gas. So we got a couple of connections in our lines that maybe I didn't tighten them up. I don't know. We'll have to investigate that too and address it. Yeah, because she's moist right there. Yep, smells like gas. I don't know what's wrong with it. Oh, that's wet right there. You can see it. Okay. So we'll snug up some fittings and fix the distributor. And we'll be back. Let's see. This guy was not tight at all. I just must have missed it. The other one felt pretty tight. I got a little bit of a turn out of it. So I'm hoping that that was enough. And not that the fitting or the line is messed up. It's going to fight me. But we're going to turn the fuel on first, or turn it on so it primes, and see if we get leakage. I don't see new drippage. We're going to hold off and see what we get here. Okay, let's go with attempt number 2 here on the first start on the new used engine. Distributor's been flipped around, tightened up a couple of fuel line connections, and as far as you know, it only took me a half hour. So let's see what happens. That's a good sign. Alright, before we get carried away, let me check my fuel line leak locations. I'm going to make sure that's completely dry, and then we'll come back and check it in a second. That one might still be leaking. Check our fuel line leak before we get carried away. Yeah. It's still wet. We're going to have to take that one apart and mess with it. But we're going to take a little break, let the exhaust cool off next to that fuel line, and send a quick video of the truck running to Tucker, because he's going to be freaking stoked. Alright, we'll be back. Alright, so the fuel leak is fixed. We got it to start again. It didn't want to start at first. I'm not sure what that's about. We sprayed a little brake cleaner in it to help prime it. So maybe that's all it was. We actually have functioning gauges. Might be kind of hard to see. They're old. They're all working. I think even the fuel gauge is working. Now we're going to try and screwdriver this to make forward backward. Let's see if it does it. You might want to stand back there.
Come here, Hound. Hound. Yeah. You got a single tire fire.
Yeah, we got a one tire fire. I need that. Alright. Well, those forward backward things. We gotta iron out some more stuff before we can take it out and really drive it, but
What you think?
now you can see the navigation working. Flowmaster makes anything sound like a race car.
Car.
All right, Dan. Let's see what's next. What do you think, Hound Dog? Is it a hot rod? Is it a hot rod, Hound Dog? Time to add to the list. Just to kind of keep me on track here. So we need belts, fan, shroud. I don't know where that other radiator mount is. Fuel hose, filler, neck needs to be fixed. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know, lad. I don't know. I don't know, lad. Pretty excited though. So excited. Hound, are you excited? This is excited face. I need to do the steering column, which means I gotta fix the one in Maverick's truck and then take it out and put it in this truck. Gotta get some belts on there and make the water pump do water pump things and the power steering. So today we hit a milestone with this truck. It's been off the road since 2005, we figured out. There's the last registration. And we weren't able to drive it. We were able to fire it up and hear it run. It sounds pretty good. I'm pretty happy with it. Need to dig into a few more things. Probably brakes, because yeah, that front cylinder's empty. We've got at least one wheel cylinder leaking. I don't know what else is going on with the brakes, but we're going to dig into that a little more before we drive it. I need to get the column replaced. I've got a tilt column for an automatic that's in Maverick's truck. We're going to take it out of that because he actually found a manual tilt column that he wants to put in there. But his tilt column is loose, so I'll have to go in and try and tighten it up. Never done that before. I've always just replaced them. But since his was tight at one point, we're going to go ahead and try and fix it. Other than that, I'm super tickled that we got this thing to fire off and run today. The tires move forward and backward, the transmission engaged. Those are all good signs. Now we got to work through all the other little stuff. So until next time, let me know what you think about what we're doing. Comment, like, subscribe. Check us out on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. And again, I appreciate you watching. Remember, if I can do it, you can do it.